Heading into this offseason, there was a lot of talk of the offer sheet because there are so many good restricted free agents out there, and some of them are with teams that don't, have too much cap flexibility. Obviously, we saw the offer sheet that Montreal sent to Carolina for Sebastian Aho. Obviously, that offer sheet was matched by Carolina, and now Sebastian Aho is going to be under contract for the next 5 years, but I don't think we're done seeing offer sheets, and there was a lot of talk today, especially around Mitch Marner, and apparently there is a team very interested, and the offer sheet would come in at around $12.5 million. And if that's the case, then that could potentially be enough to get you Mitch Marner, and I don't really think the Leafs would be too upset about that because I just don't think they could fathom paying him more than John Tavares and Austin Matthews, and you would get 4 consecutive first-round picks from a team that probably isn't the greatest if they have that much money to give out to a guy like a Mitch Marner. So then, you have really high-value first-round picks from them, for the next 4 years. So it's obviously a high price to pay, but Mitch Marner, he is a hot commodity, and I'm sure there is more than one team considering offer sheeting him. And then the other big rumors that were going around today is Patrik Laine, and maybe the Montreal Canadiens are going to give it another shot and try to offer sheet someone else, and a lot of the rumors were them offer sheeting Patrik Laine, and I think that would be really interesting. It seems like they want a centerman, so I thought maybe a guy like Braden Point would be a lot more likely, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see, and maybe by the time I even post this video, we will see an offer sheet, because a lot of the speculation was we would see one, and probably one for Mitch Marner later on today. But remember, the player does have to sign that offer sheet, and I really do think Mitch Marner wants to be a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but $12.5 million, that would be very tough to turn down. It would definitely put the Leafs in a tough situation, and if they eventually did match that, it would definitely have to make a lot of changes in trying to free up some cap space. And I think the rumored team actually that was going to offer him that $12.5 million was the New York Islanders. I'm not quite sure. It's just, I've been reading a lot of stuff on Twitter throughout the day, and how ironic would that be, the New York Islanders lose John Tavares to the Leafs and then eventually steal Mitch Marner from the Leafs. But I don't think Mitch Marner, would want to play for the Islanders. It's a weird situation, and I'm not quite sure what is going to happen. But, just from a fan's perspective, and because none of my, Red Wings players are restricted free agents that we could potentially lose, I want to see some more offer sheets. I think it would make this offseason very interesting. And, the offer sheet from Montreal to Carolina, it was interesting, but we knew it was going to get matched. It was only like 8 something million. And if they wanted to really get that player, they would have had to make it, up there, probably around 9 to 10 million for Sebastian Aho, because you could argue all the names on the screen here, he could be better than every single one of them potentially. And there's just so many good ones, like Braden Point. He's a guy who I think is probably going to stay with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't really see anyone offer sheeting him. Mitch Marner is the question mark, but I think in the end there will be something done between Marner and the Maple Leafs to keep him around. And then Mikko Rantanen, who's going to get a lot of money. Matthew Tkachuk and Brock Besser are also restricted free agents, and then you have Zach Werenski. Kyle Connor, who's a guy I thought would be a prime target for an offer sheet, because in my opinion, I know many people might not agree with this, I think Kyle Connor is the better player than Patrik Laine, but I definitely could see Patrik Laine getting more money this summer, because it's rumored that he's demanding up around 9 to 10 mil, which I think is pretty ridiculous. So maybe if Montreal offer sheets him that, he would accept it. So next day or two should be pretty interesting. We still have some big name unrestricted free agents like Ryan Dzingel, Marcus Johansson, and then also we have Jake Gardiner, who's a guy who's probably a prime target from a lot of teams. But I think a lot of the focus from GMs right now is these restricted free agents, and I think that is what is making this so entertaining. And like I said, I kind of hope we see an offer sheet just from a pure entertainment perspective. And I think the last offer sheet that wasn't matched was like in the 1990s or something crazy like that. But you never know. Maybe this summer, is the summer that we finally see someone change teams via the offer sheet. And also Charlie McAvoy and Jordan Binnington are restricted free agents as well. Those guys probably won't be prime targets, from other teams to try to offer sheet. But you never know. But if I had to pick a couple of names off of this list here of the big name RFAs remaining that I think potentially could get offer sheeted, I would probably go with Mitch Marner and then Patrik Laine and Kyle Connor, because those are the two teams that, have kind of cap issues out of all these teams on here. Everyone else can kind of get something done with their team. Braden Point potentially, maybe Montreal goes after him to try to get their center, but you never know. So make sure you guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Make sure to let me know any predictions that you have for a lot of these restricted free agents. Now I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, and maybe in the next couple of hours we can see, an offer sheet announced. So with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content, and I will see you guys all in the next video.